saying it is very worthy to come and give a response and set the record straight and inform our people about the truth of your force. This is going to be very comprehensive, but I'm going to put out facts in a way that even the blind can see. We don't believe in dreams and hopes alone, but we believe we are the miracle workers that have to make this dream of our people come to pass.
And then they say, several wounded in the stamp.
So, as you know very well, my country people for Ground Zero, when they watch me for television, and those who they watch me for social media, also when they watch me for my YouTube channel and for ACN Facebook and YouTube channel, I want to still repeat again, just to make a recap, so that I'm going to go for the part 2 for this presentation. When I hear the list where Chris Ano is the reader about the Ambazonian Defense Forces soldier the way La Republique he published and say would then kill them for inside Batibo. Most of those lists now fake lists them. Most of those images will be shared on social media by Kunyam titles, the Cameroon military attaché, are pure propaganda. They have mixed pictures of soldiers that were killed in Bambui and many other places amongst their pictures and put them out there. And imagine what the enemy will think about us if we cannot even distinguish which is a soldier who died in Batibo and which one did not die there. It will show how incompetent we are. So this demonstrates incompetence in the part of Chris Ano, somebody who is out of touch of reality. He does not know what he's talking about. The list of those who were killed there were made of many soldiers who are alive. Vast majority of them are alive. As you can see, this is Commander Rasta, who was killed in Bambui. Commander Ras was not in Batibo. He was not a part of the ADF forces that was killed. Their bodies were displayed on the street to humiliate our people. And their name was put as victory for Buba, the new Shidno Wiblas La République du Cameroon terrorist who have been brought in because he is stupid. Buba is a womanizer and a drunkard. Cameroon needed their finest, Valerie Carl, who was also a terrorist. They remove him, so they bring Buba there for the meantime. He has been making up stories trying to prop up himself. So Chris Ano is helping La République to spread this fake news about our soldiers who died. We have told our people that we lost 11 soldiers and that is it. We had some wounded soldiers who were wounded, and what Chris Ano is saying is just crap. He's out of touch.
A held belief that the ADF has been fighting alongside La République du Cameroon military. And as I guess this is the case of dog eat dog.
So it is very shameful that repeatedly Chris Ano have come on social media and on his TV channel and lied to our people that Ambazonian Defense Forces soldiers have been working with La République. This is a big lie. It have never been substantiated. There are no evidence. He's just making them up for political reasons with deadly consequences on the ground. How can somebody look at the dead body of 11 Ambazonian soldiers that he calls our soldiers? He calls them Ambazonian finest. He calls them Ambazonian fighters, contradicting himself. How could somebody look at those pictures and dishonor the soldiers to call them La République forces when they were killed by La République military? How can somebody be this wicked and this evil, and yet some of our people entertain him? You should know him for who he is. He's a cold-blooded con man, evil man, somebody who could not even honor the death of his brother. You would think that if somebody was to murder your younger brother, you would take time and mourn, and you look at that person for who the person is, an evil military regime of La République, who will kill your brother, carry his body, dead body of Oliver Leke, display them on the street of Kumba, and you still come, you are willing to associate La République du Cameroon with Ambazonian fighters. What type of a human being will be so cold? I heard his wife is in coma. It will not surprise me that God will allow all these type of things to happen to you, Chris Ano, because you are a wicked and evil man. Wicked, jealous, full of hate, full of lie and void of honor. Later on, Chris Ano talked about he gets information from his informant. And we know the people that provide information to Chris Ano. We also know that Cameroon intelligence. We know Cameroon intelligence. So remember, Cameroon military their intelligence and their propaganda machine, they know that Cristiano don't know what is going on the ground. He simply takes information from social media or newspaper and from the people he called informant, which is Sama Thomas, Babila Tita, and Sikot Johnson, and put it on social media. And these are people that have not good record to be credible with in the first place. The first one is Sama Thomas. These are the people he calls his informant, and these are the people who come on air on ABC to lie Ambazonian people and blackmail the Ambazonia Defense Forces. Because a lot of audios have been classified regarding the activities of Sama Thomas, I will just leave it there, but I will just give you a little bit information about Sama Thomas. To be honest with you, Sama Thomas was a great fighter. He's a very great fighter. He was one of the vanguards of the SDF, working for Nijon Fundi, a very huge man who will stand in front of Nijon Fundi and show SDF that it has the support of the people during the 90s when we were still youth. People like Sama Thomas make us to be proud as people who come from Bamenda. He's a brave man, huge man in muscle. His protection and work as an SDF vanguard in Bamenda was an inspiration to many youth. He was a strong somebody on the ground who did muscle building, inspired all of us, the youth in Bamenda, in Kumba, to stand up and protect people that are leaders, people who were fighting, perceived to be fighting against us. Sama Thomas have fought against tyranny on the ground, fighting against SDF, against CPDM. He's one of those people when Frundi decided to take bribe from the Cameroon government when he was entrapped into a case about the murder of another SDF vanguard, and he was forced to take bribe and sell his conscience. He abandoned a lot of good men that I know, including my own father, who abandoned his government job to work for the SDF. He abandoned a lot of them. I remember this guy who used to work in the secretariat in Bamenda. Mr. Alex, who is of late. I think most of his kids have also run the country. They are out there. Some of them are in Germany. That man, they used to send me out there to go and shoot stone against gendarmes who were standing on the road and all this stuff. So we know the people who have been working so hard to fight for freedom, fight against tyranny, to fight for injustice. Sama Thomas was one of the best. And we have seen a lot of people, good people like Sama Thomas, who have lost their way because they have been deceived by elites, Ambazonia elitism, people who seek for fame. He has tried to be an activist that have many followers as well and things like that may be charming to a lot of people, and he have fallen short. Sama Thomas ran away from Cameroon, from Ambazonia, let me say Cameroon in general, because he was an SDF vanguard. He ran to Belgium. I remember, if I get the story right, from what we know is that he contacted Dr. Chuayaba because he knows that this was one of the people who have also fought for the SDF alongside with Fundi, who have fought for Southern Cameroons, even in the creation of the All Anglophone Conference in Boya and Bamenda. I have actually been a servant of the people fighting for the just cause. When Sama Thomas ran away as a refugee because of the Cameroon government pursuing the remnants of people who were supporting Fundi, he ran away to Belgium. He called Dr. Chuayaba, the governing council who have been mobilizing Ambazonians from the diaspora, even before some of our eyes were open, received him. They called the Secretary General of the Ambazonian Governing Council, Mr. Moe. They picked him up and he get himself set up and applied for his asylum and got his protection. Like many other people, when Seseko came up, who was pursuing more of fame, thinking Ambazonian liberation was one of a quick fix, short-term glory, they would just make people to rise up. Bohebet even went and asked people that they are going to march up to Boya. When they saw that it was fame, a shortcut to glory, Sama Thomas also joined them and started indulging himself in blackmail of the same people who helped him and picked him up in Europe where he arrived. People he knows are heroes. Today he is the most biggest blackmailer of the ADF. I have audios sent to me by our soldiers in Chomba, in Batu, all those areas, those big camps He's forcing them, don't join ADF. All this blackmail will not help him. The Tabequifo, he's represent the Tabequifo, Batman in Bamenda. He's a hero because, I've worked with him in cases of kidnapping for ransom. And at some cases, he's willing to even remove his personal money and pay to have people released. So he knows that we are fighting for the right thing. He's willing to pay his money. The last time we had a case where I was telling, it was not our fault. I was saying this guy should be released. He was saying that he's even going to use his money to pay the money that the soldiers were asking. I tell him, no, you cannot do that. We cannot pretend we are leaders. It's either we lead the boys, either they listen to the leadership orders or they don't. You cannot go and pay money to your soldiers or to other soldiers for them to release civilians. If they arrest somebody which is not justified, that will be considered kidnapping. And you have to order them and tell them to release that individual. If you cannot do that, there is no shortcut. So Sama Thomas, I've seen him on social media trying to become like an activist. You don't have it. When you don't have it, you don't have it. You cannot articulate, you cannot formulate policies. You have put out dangerous policy, asked soldiers to shoot at the United Nations humanitarian flight because of suspicion of La République du Cameroon involvement in those things. Things that could collapse this struggle. So reckless individuals like this who have pursued popularism and fame that they cannot have by their own because they want to appear on TV and stand alongside with Chris Anu and being watched by 1,000 people, they go and feed information to Chris Anu. And Thomas, how can you bring yourself to the level where Chris Anu is calling you an informant? An informant is a word used by military people to talk about small boys who give them information on the street. How can you reduce yourself to this level? No doubt you keep on refusing that your soldiers, the Tabequifo, are not the IG, because you know these people are just scammers. But yet you want to go close to them to receive money, to gain fame, and at the end of the day, you are risking the very soldiers you are saving. You want Batman to end up like Commando or Masha, who was compromised as a result of Chris Anu trying to challenge No Pity. Instead of trying to challenge La République, he's using his forces to challenge the ADF. Don't waste your time trying to fight a rolling stone. You cannot undermine the ADF. You cannot fight an ideology. We should learn by now. The other person he calls his informant is Babila Tita, who resides in America. And if you remember, everybody should have watched videos and pictures. When Dr. Chua Yaba went to Canada, Babila Tita was one of the people who received him and volunteer himself like a bodyguard, which is honorable. These are people who are nice people, but they just have a wrong approach. They are just wrong in what they do, and they feel of hatred when they find people who are better or who can do what they want to do better. Babila Tita just hate Capo Daniel. Maybe because I do it better than him, I don't know. He just hate Capo Daniel. He has been pushing even Grandpa Bali that he represents. And remember the Buffalo. Sama Thomas was one of the people who created the Buffaloes. And they kicked him out because he's from Mancon. He's now blackmailing the same Mancon man I have actually. So-called Mancon man, if in case you are a tribalistic oriented person. So these two individuals, Babila Tita, who have testified that the IG of Sako, let me put it that way because now he is talking with Chris Anu, they try to kill and set up forces of the Buffalo. They are working with La République. The same you are coming to see the same person who is working for La République, Chris Anu, because you want to be fame, you want to be the leader, you want to be all those things. Can you really lead if they put you in front of the US Congress or this diplomat? Can you even open your mouth and say anything? Because I listen to you, you are not articulate, you cannot even articulate even your own about your own force. I learned you were a B, or you went to the B and they kicked you out, whatever. But you have demonstrated yourself that you are a patriot. Stay on principle. Principle will mean that you will be rational to make right decision and align yourself, or lead the boys that listens to you in a part where they will collaborate with everybody. I remember the last time I talked with Grandpa for Bali with video. He was there with our ADF generals. They were relaxing, having meeting. And he's more afraid that you will find out. And the other time they said that they bought RPG from Marianta. Do you know how many weapons the ADF provides to Grandpa Bali? Do you know how many these IEDs? When I went to ground one day to bring them to the territory, do you know how many of them were used by the buffaloes of Balinyonga? Most of the IED that you celebrate, do you know where they came from? Do you know how they reached there? You are doing a fine job. But your principle, you have to stay on principle, because the principle will mean that you align yourself and collaborate with others. You will not blackmail and seek to be in competition with others. You wouldn't do that. So anyway, I'll leave it there. I will not even go to the other one, Seacott Johnson. I think we have enough of his file. So people like Chris Ano, who come out and make this propaganda. There are more videos. He has been doing this all his life, asking where is the ADF fighting. But before I answer those questions, make I take time for play another video of the same thing. Maybe when I know say it no be the first time this Chris Ano is coming out to represent the Cameroon side. So I want to bring another video just to remind you of what Chris Ano have been doing to you and the Ambazonian Liberation Movement.
People said Church Street or something like, or behind Chair.
Yeah, Church Street, that be leading to Tarikon. The Church Street not close to Tarikon Park.
And
that's right.
The other terrorists from French Cameroon came and we laid them out.
So this other video, now video where Chris Ano, he be maker, time way the Cameroon occupation terrorist military, they be catch two of our forces them, where they work with two of General Okoro. When I know General Okoro, it be been an ADF fighter, where due to the internal politics, then Shishegi hate he can abandon ADF. So he be the fight on his own now. Soldier way na be at the gatekeeper for inside Pinying Day. The one it be been at the General Okoro, a two soldier then way the Ambazonian Cameroon terrorist forces then catch them, then kill them for Bamenda, then put their body for street for humiliate them. Chris Ano, he and those is so-called informant, which we believe this one is a Cameroon military man, pretending to be a normal civilian on the ground, come out to lie and dishonor dead soldiers, calling them ADF, calling them La Republique. I want to show you who these soldiers were. But before, let's listen to their video.
Found the same environment. And
that's correct.
And then once they got them, they stopped a taxi that took them around town. And you are actually getting this piece of information from somebody who was in the taxi.
That's correct. That's
okay.
Correct.
Now, they were all together, the four that we find on the screen?
Actually, that's correct. The four that we find, there were four of them that were shot dead. Around 30 minutes somewhere, 20 minutes somewhere, 15 minutes somewhere.
Any particular reason they were making these rounds?
So, this one now one of the lies and where Chris Ano the lie and blackmail Ambazonian forces on the ground, diminishing them and demoralizing other forces that work alongside them and who knows them. Because if you see your brother who have been killed, four of them in this case, pardon me, four of them were killed and displayed in Bamenda. If you see soldiers who lie like this, when the Cameroon government is trying to show the people that these were bad people and making all this fake propaganda about them, and then you are doing the same thing, how do you think you affect the soldiers on the ground? So now he's talking to somebody who claims that he was claiming he was an eyewitness. Then he's claiming that he's not an eyewitness. He's reporting something he heard from somebody who was in a taxi, just a passenger, and he witnesses things. And then somehow the story is that the Cameroon military killed this boy, put them in a taxi, carried them from one place to another. How could a passenger be along with the Cameroon military? Anybody who reasons would know that the person talking to Chris Ano reporting this story is a Cameroon military man or a Cameroon agent or somebody who is standing with Cameroon, because he's definitely lying, and any reasonable person should know. And Chris Ano relies on Cameroon agents like this to come and produce what they want to say to the people and sow chaos, misinformation and lies. And I'll prove to you, I'll show to you, but let's go through this video.
Yeah, it's some sort of exhibition showing that they've got the Amber Boys.
Okay.
Maybe teach by some other onlookers.
That's what they
they were
call dog.
allowed-
That's what they call dog eat dog, right?
So this person, Chris Anu, what he is doing is not different from Kunyam Titus, mocking Ambazonian soldiers who have fallen in battle, lying about them, dishonor them, humiliates them, call them even the enemy. The enemy, everybody in Ground Zero hate La Republique. Nobody wants to be associated with La Republique. How can you dishonor people like this? How can anybody who follows Chris Anu or his group, align with somebody who can behave in this manner? And he called himself a pastor.
That's correct. Send a thief to catch a thief.
Right. Now, you had also, I think you had also mentioned that these guys are known to be ADF guys.
Very correct.
Tell me what you know. Tell me what you know.
I was
and how
coming to that.
Okay.
They tell you in Bamenda, we call it Apakwa town. There are certain areas where.
So, according to Chris Anu, now that these boys are dead, they are ADF. And the people who killed these boys are Cameroon military, mocking the boys. So how could anybody even think that this man is in his right sense? You say that ADF is La Republique. The same time you are saying that La Republique have killed ADF. And then you call it is dog by dog. Somehow it makes sense to you. Why would ADF, Cameroon government, be killing or fighting against the ADF if the ADF is working for them? Why? It doesn't make sense. So anyway, let's continue the video and you hear how the guys narrate.
The ADF guys do operate. When you go to Tanka, around the area Tanka,
yes,
you go to area around Tuwelmbingwe Road, you go to around somewhere like Bali Road, that's why they carry their operation. So when you get to those guys, they know that when they come like that, they are in a bid to supply the ADF guys some sort of material or money or what. So in the course of doing it, people to believe that they were fighting, but you will never see any casualty, any reason for shooting all night. The next
people said Chair Street or something like, or behind Chair.
Yeah, Chair Street, that be leading to Tarikon. The Chair Street is close to Tarikon Park.
And
that's right.
The other terror.
So they explain, say you go for Tanka, you go for Bali Park, you go for Chair Street, Bali Road, all those areas that they be controlled by ADF. Not them. But every time every time they kill La Republique to come around military in that area, they will come and say it's not ADF. Where is the ADF fighting? The same people will turn around and call Sama Thomas to come and say that Tanka is not an ADF force. The same people say contradicting themselves. But they use all this ammunition and deceive our gullible and people who don't take time to connect the dots of what these people are saying, but they are just driven by the way they talk and because they are on TV. These are just lies. So they are saying that the ADF that fights in Tanka, in Alabukam, in Tarinkun, in Bali Road, and all those places, according to what they are saying, they are not actually fighting La Republique. La Republique the Cameroon is just coming to give them weapons. I will come and show you those areas and what we have been doing there. But first, let me talk about these soldiers who are lying on the street. These same 4 soldiers, 2 of them who are lying on the street are the same 2 soldiers who are in this mission who attacked Bambutus together with General Okoro. So let me play the video of this same soldier who was killed and his body put in on the street there. I don't know if this is pardon me. So these are the video. If you remember the video, they are calling the Okoro Live.
Bombo! Mission fronte! Now General Okoro Live! General Okoro Live! Live!
So this is the soldier.
Bombo!
This is the soldier who was killed and his body displayed in Bamenda, is it the road going up to Up Station, by the Cameroon military. This was a soldier that Chris Anu is calling a La Republique du Cameroon military. This is him here, killing La Republique du Cameroon in this one. Ibidi do it away and not be talking for social media because the one at TV, you could show for people their house. This is the same soldier killing La Republique military, calling General Okoro Live. Somehow for propaganda purposes and to continue to fight against the ADF because his problem is ADF, not La Republic. He's working with La Republic because La Republic problem is the ADF. So now he's saying that this soldier is ADF, and he's saying that this soldier is La Republic. But you can see this is a soldier killing La Republic military, and he was killed by La Republic military. But this Chris Anu, they are creating a war of their own, a war of lies and manipulation, bringing people who call themselves informant to come and lie about the ADF. So it's not the first time that you see people coming and talk about the Cameroon narrative, as you see in the case of Batibo, where we lost 11 fine Ambazonian soldiers who were coming from across our barracks, across the territory, to come and carry out Operation Sunrise, which was supposed to put Ambazonia on the map. Cameroon military was successful because they had the help of internal haters, opposition, and agents such as Chris Anu and their likes. So first of all, I want to show you some of the video to really show you the Bengui Road. Because they say in Bengui Road, the Ambazonia Defense Forces, the people there, they are not fighting, they are just making propaganda. These are the ADF fighters in Bengui Road. I think you guys have all seen this video.
That's the one Abamenda Brigade, Dr. Ayabacho Epikine from the AGF group, 19 November 2021. Yes. Now our brother and also shouted they come there.
So this is when we started using the vaporizer
7 meters
version of the IED
for a target.
That completely vaporized Cameroon military in Bengui Road. This is Bengui Road.
The line up, so they stand for line.
Yeah. I go forward the video.
Mimi told man first, command. Yeah, go Mr. DJ. Yes. Play on DJ, play on. Yo, Mr. DJ.
The Cameroon armored car was completely shattered. All her occupants died. There were video footages on the scene that shows littered body parts from the Cameroon military in Bengui Road. This is the Bengui Road you heard Chris Anu and his so-called informant talking about, that the ADF, they are there shooting gun in the air. They don't know whether people are dying or not. And he talks about in Tarinkun and within Bali Road there. I will show you the ones in the outskirts of Bamenda around Tarinkun of operations that we have put out the videos there. These are the operations of the ADF in Bamenda, so that you know that these people are just lying. This is ADF fighting. The Bamenda Brigade, let me show you the one in Bamenda around that Tarinkun area for you to see live action of our forces fighting against La Republic in those areas. So when you hear gunshots in Bamenda, these are our forces fighting. There are other videos in Bamenda that show our forces fighting against La Republic inside Bamenda. You remember the one that was the first takeover plan with Fontaire, with Cameroon military, some of them hiding behind petrol stations. Those are all actions our people know that the Chris Anu wants you to forget. That is RPG. You heard the sound of RPG there. So these are real combat mission about our forces in Bamenda fighting against the Cameroon military. We have seen Cameroon military fallen in the hands of ADF so many times. It is ridiculous and childish for me to be forced to come and prove to you these things that are all so obvious. Instead, you should be confronting Chris Anu. Let me even show you a picture of the Bamenda Brigade, how they handle a captured Cameroon military in flesh and blood.
Non, tu es venu pour tuer le Amba, non?
So this is a captured Cameroon military man in Bamenda by
On ne
ADF.
descend pas. Tu es venu pour tuer le Amba, hein? Le Amba t'a pris, le Amba va te tuer.
This is in Bamenda. This is Cameroon military. DPO soldier was captured in Bamenda.
Nadis, uhanga na hanga. Nadis ukaki.
So this one, na Cameroon military captured, and he was neutralized on video. It's out there. There are multiple videos. You cannot even count it. You have the one in of Talk and Do in Menchum, who destroyed 2 armored vehicles who were trying to transport the colonial mayor there. You have just numerous. You have one of the greatest fight. I don't even know if I should be even putting this thing. It's ridiculous that you have to replay things because some hater will come up to be arguing with you. So let me put this this other video so that you see for yourself what have been happening, and I'm going to show you what these people don't want you to see. So some of those actions, even let me just put this one. Some of those actions that we carried, you even have Chris Anu publicizing those actions, calling them his forces, restoration forces.
The 25th of January 2022. Yes, this which we the special force of ADF Special Force collect them from the La République de Cameroon. And within the year say the IG then the post out and then do Sako Chris Anu them within the year.
So this one a rebuter message for January this year when our soldier they will go ambush soldier them for inside La République. They harvest their weapon, they kill 2 of them. The videos are all out there. They were published. Chris Anu actually came out at that time and said that it was not ADF soldiers, it was a restoration forces there, and they had to make these videos to make a rebuter. So I want you, ladies and gentlemen, always keep your sanity. The whole way con men they operate is to make you to even doubt your own sanity, to lose focus of reality, so that they can con you and play you, and this time they are playing over the death of our people on the ground. So these people have been fighting against the ADF for a long time. Their problem is not La République. Their problem is the ADF. ADF problem is not them. Our problem is La République. So if they were actually fighting for Ambazonian freedom and independence, their focus would not be the ADF and the governing council, Dr. Cho, Capo Daniel, and all our officials who have been working so hard. What these people have been afraid, what they have been scared of, is the fact that the ADF will fight and give Ambazonia freedom. And they were in this struggle just for short-term glory. Right from the time of Siseko, they had this idea, the idea of liberation was a short-term, based on fame and popularism. They thought that we can just protest and have our way to freedom. They miscalculated. And instead for them, who saw the Ambazonia Defense Forces doing something that was long-lasting, that was attainable, instead for them to join them or to replicate it, they could do their own. Even when they tried to create the DOD, they didn't pursue it because they were keep on looking at what the ADF was doing and trying to destroy them. I want to show you, ladies and gentlemen, what the ADF is, what they are made up of, so that you are not mistaken. Remember, early on, when Siseko was made the head of the joint platform, a multi-organization joint platform, the SCACUF, and he wanted to make things happen. Let me put up this picture so that you know. At that time, you had it was Akosong Raymond who invited Siseko over. This is Siseko having meeting with Dr. Cho Ayaba and the leadership of the governing council, the Secretary General of the ADF, the Sheikh Kabi was the DDC of the ADF, and then you have Benedikwa, who is the leader of the Defense Department, the Chief of the War Council. Siseko came and they met them because these were the people who were building a military on the ground, building a force to fight against Cameroon. Today, they want to give a dog a black name and inadvertently assist Cameroon to destroy the greatest force that can defeat Cameroon on the ground. Siseko left this room instead to go and support the ADF or try to work and collaborate with them. They try to create their own force and they did not focus on it. Instead, they go and try to hire ADF fighters, blackmail their leadership, try to destroy ADF for the purpose of fighting to destroy Abacho's leadership and for nobody else to shine. It is just the wicked black man syndrome. You remember, because Dr. Cho Ayaba gave a wonderful speech in Washington, D.C., even his closest ally, Ebenezer Akwanga, became so jealous and hated him for that. People hate each other for just speaking the truth and trying to fight. But remember, there are three types of people who are in the diaspora. There are those who, majority of them, ran away because of the political, the economic hardship from the country. And there are those who are potential leaders, people who could be the leaders of our country, but who have failed to be in CPDM or even to prosper in SDF. People who have failed ENAM. People who look at themselves and say that we should have been those who are chopping money in that country. We should have been the boomers of that country. Failed CPDM politicians and failed SDF politicians like Atta Milan, including Seseko Ayoktabi. All they see in the diaspora and people like Sako is that this is an opportunity for them to go back and be who they could not be. The Ambazonian struggle have become the enam of some of these people. That's why they are not putting forth any strategy. They are busy trying to fight the ADF and the nationalists so that they can meet Pobia and cut some deal with them and let them finally become who they could not be before they left the country. The vast majority of the active people in the liberation movement are this type of people. There are those who actually ran away from this struggle because they were fighting on the ground like Ayabacho, Ebenezer Kwanga, Benedict Kwa, Sheikh Abi. They fought on the ground. They saw blood on the ground. They were ready to give their life. These are selfless individuals who are now fighting genuinely with genuine efforts to liberate our homeland, not fighting to become the CPDM person. That's why their behavior is different. That's why they are focused on the objective on Cameroon. Those who wanted to use shortcuts like Success Congo and the other one, Professor of Dr. G in South Africa, they have all fallen into the hands of the enemy because they are greedy. They are not selfless. You can be liberated only by selfless individuals who are not fighting for any political benefit or their own individual agenda, but people who are focused on fighting to free the common man. Who gets it? This so-called elitism, they keep on playing the same politics of La Republique, doing the same scamming to you as La Republique was doing. They are not better. You can never be saved by people who are there for short-term glory. You can never. That's why you see people, some of the activists have dropped off because they were not really fighting for you. They saw an opportunity to become famous. They saw an opportunity to become somebody. That's why they took it. They were not really there campaigning for you. That's why you find a lot of them have stayed back. So you see somebody like Sikot Johnson, he's coming now to shout because he thought that the ADF has failed with this lockdown. It will affect our morale or anything. It will not. Instead, we are more motivated to do better. We learn from our mistakes. We kneel, we walk, we fall, we stand up, we run. We only do better. We only get better. So ladies and gentlemen, make a show now. Who is the ADF? Make una remember. The ADF is a force of people who have seen how Cameroon barbarism is. And they decided that the only way for us to be safe as a people is to build an army. Because they were with the ACNC, they was with all these, Godidinka and all these people, they were with them already. Ebenezer Kwanga Ayabacho, they had gone to protest, they have gone to embassy. Ayabacho, when he ran away from Cameroon after he carried out operations, they had set up Sokadev. They were being undermined by the SCNC. They traveled abroad and they went and do the diplomacy. They saw that they would not listen to us unless we pick up weapons and fight on Ambazonia with AK. They did not just think about it. They had tried everything. They went to the field to recruit young men and women and train them to fight for our freedom. These are the ADF on the ground. Early in 2015, because they know that Cameroon will never negotiate with Ambazonia from a point of weakness. They left the diaspora. They went on the ground because these are patriots. These are selfless individuals. Let me bring all the other videos. You can see Benedict Kwa, Sheikh Abi Wemeleng on the ground training our people. I may not have opportunity to play all those videos for you to see, but these were the people on the ground who train our people. Train them, prepare them for battle. And when they trained them, what happened? What did the field marshal did? What did the IG who came into Lebialem that had been liberated by the ADF? Who came there? What did they do? They went around arresting ADF soldiers, claiming that they were La Republique. So it did not start today with the Gozang. It did not start today with the Bui. This thing had been going on long ago. So these are the ADF soldiers. Let me play this video captured by the younger brother of Chris Anu.
Yes, today na 24 Red Dragons. They keep this Ayabachu group. We'll begin with their leader.
Yes, my name is Leke John.
My name is Manja Shiak.
My name is Ikulu Jackson.
Yeah, leader, tell we a mission for Lebialem.
Yeah, I mean, I be go bring this boy, this doctor, we will be there for camp for Ikumbe. He can work for the guys and for here. The man in name where he give me that money, in name na where he there for Norway. Where he work with the Ayaba. When na Fontaine man and Lebialem man.
Okay, we don't hear. Okay, we'll continue as we keep on.
So this one na person wey dey call our soldiers Odeshi. These are ADF fighters that were trained, they were recruited, and they recruited other fighters. They were fighting for Ambazonia Defense Forces. Chris Anu and Sako, they came in, they arrested them, paraded them, and killed a lot of ADF fighters. I'll show you pictures of these same soldiers who were trained to fight against La Republique and only La Republique. These are them in Lebialem, training to fight La Republique.
All for one for all. No retreat.
At that time, Chris Anu and the brother were nowhere in Lebialem. It was the ADF.
One for all. All for one for all.
Yes. You can see the boy at the far end there. That's him there. Sumoli. They killed those 3 boys. One of them was paralyzed from the waist down. See, today he is now in Kumba, walking on wheelchair.
So that if you join a group, and this group then under Ayaba group, ADF group. So I talk for the behalf of my people, for the big man Ayaba, for the ADF group people, I made a look to see so they feel support we because we lack of materials and at the beginning this way we will start for today, and if today we will start soon. I say I call my baba come, let's other side I did it with my own gang, but I look and see my village people they love cry me. I was see no man come for Libya language in my own place.
So you can see the ADF soldiers who were in Lebialem fighting, who liberated Lebialem before the coming of Field Marshal. You can hear them talking about their mission is to fight and liberate our territory away from Cameroon military. They were asking for the ADF leadership in the diaspora to provide nothing but weapons for them. Their focus was La Republique du Cameroon. Somehow, Chris Anu thinks he can brainwash our people after assassinating and killing these people. Many fighters, Chris Anu himself and Sako, were the one ordering the Red Dragon soldiers to slaughter their brothers. To slaughter them. Let me play you other videos of other ADF soldiers who were also captured by Field Marshal and they were slaughtered. For what? For what reason? For power's sake. Power hungry. They want to take over the country, take over the force to go and negotiate. They are not fighting against La Republique to win La Republique, but they are fighting against the Ambazonian Governing Council. Let me play you this video so that you can see. Where is that video? Pardon me for taking this long. Where is that video? How is this possible? Okay, let me check the video. The video is here. This is August 22. Oh, yep, I found the video. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes, I just want make una see the way they don't do am for my boys. Yes.
the volume is too low.
This way we don't succeed for see them. I don't really do this way we succeed for see them. The way they do am for them. Thank God say the one them don't baptize them. Now whether they feel success with it, they don't.
So, these are soldiers that recounts how Chris Anu and Sako were giving orders for soldiers who were grouped up in a room, a lot of them. They were removing them one by one, taking them to a river in Lebialem and executing them, throwing their dead bodies in the water. Who was fighting for La Republique? Is it not the Field Marshal and the Chris Anu killing Ambazonian soldiers?
False accusation we now for key people. The other day we went before inside their prison, when they call up prison. They come take some of the two guys, say now they are on ladies, they come and don't say me they shoot or we send them video, send government video, they take them, go outside, they go finish with them. It won't be yesterday Sunday evening. They come before, say now we on ladies. They take we go at Tango, say they belong back guys, me and my brother and some other one guy where we never still see them. They go away for firings, scout for Chena Jeff on top some bridge where Oliver Biki order say they should shoot me for them push up for inside water. Now for they one shoot with the power of God were there and with cause God we know which way they for heart. He survived we had.
So this soldier they tell una say Chris Anu order Oliver Leke me then execute them. And they were removing them 2 by 2 every day in a room, executing Ambazonian fighters. So who is killing our fighters on the ground, asking people to kill? These are the testimonies, these are victims. These two, they put them over the river, they jump inside the river when they were shooting them, and that is how they survived to tell the story. And they're telling you how many people, how many Ambazonian soldiers were slaughtered under the order of Chris Anu and Sako through his brother, Oliver Leke, for power grab, because they want to be the only one to go and negotiate. It has been going on for long because the volume is poor. Because the volume is poor, I may not be able to play it all, but I think I should play this one again. This is another soldier, ADF soldier.
Like I was supposed to Marshal. Now yeah, I ask and say, that school. Now my brother, me I define a one struggle. Field Marshal, now my grand will find a one struggle. And now me I make them before Field Marshal even know a couple manungu still go they go court mercy, but still they go arrange. And then why can they fight it? That one, you know, even look them. They probably say they want just
yes. Me. So, but they might ask you one question because all information.
So, do you want another ADF soldier? Person wait time with the Field Marshal they become inside Liberian and they happy. The one just kill he say because say he be ADF, then talk say he be traitor. Just like that for lie, just try to kill him. And these are boys who had abandoned their family early on because most of these guys will recruit them. When Cameroon terrorism strikes and some of the people that stand up and they speak out, they can no longer go back to the house. The Cameroon try to kill them. So listen to his story.
In general, I say they're alive, but the rampant killing way, our brother and the key civilian for update, done too much. If the interim government did not do something concerning this matter, stop all this kind of killing. Like I should say, after this struggle, family them again will see carry on to fight against another family them.
So these are people on the ground testifying about the murder of innocent people by Field Marshal Oliver Leke. And this boy
follow me. La Republic Cameroon moved me from my house on 18th of November 2017. I live with my long belly. So today, I never see the woman. The woman be born through operation. Because she died for October 2018. I not see even the dead body. I not even know which side way my family did. But wait here, I know that say I want my family knows I see they alive. Mama knows I see they alive.
They don't die.
Wait here, I will tell Ambazonia people them. The Bangwa man in general. I see they alive, but the rampant killing way.
So do one a boy way, time where they be the protest with peace plan, many of those people them, they be abandon their house and run enter for bush because Cameroon military, they probably be declare war on Ambazonia. That means they then kill all Ambazonians, especially those who they stand as activists, where they stand for forefront for campaign and raise Ambazonia flag. He don't run a house. For over 2 years, the boy is there for inside bush. The ADF, they don't receive them, then give them job, they fight for free their homeland so that our people then feel live and express their nationalism freely. They feel get a space for live, as General Efang talk, live peacefully, carry their commerce without the fear of Cameroon persecution and killing. Now the boy then they this way, Chris Anu they work a hunt them for kill them on a lie, just for lie. Say the ADF the work with the Republic brainwash small picking the way they feel Masharan come using tribalism for bring them under. And these are the people, and these are the same ideology, wicked ideology, that people like Sama Thomas are willing to propagate. These are the things that Sikot Johnson was willing to propagate through the TTA. What type of evil can people be motivated by greed, selfishness, the wicked black man syndrome? Why all these lies with evidence of the contrary? Why all this murder and killing of our own? Why, Chris Ano? Why are they doing all this thing? Remember, when they bring this their so-called informant, this is not the first time we have seen them doing the same thing again and again with deadly consequences. You remember in Bui, when Chris Ano, he came out and he says that, hold on, let me bring this video.
They will be crushed. This, what happened in Bui, should send a message to the ADF and the AGOVC that this interim government would no longer sit down to negotiate with you out there.
So their problem is they want to sit down and negotiate, but ADF is out there fighting La Republic, and that is becoming a stumbling block. Initially, it was not like the Swiss process was not even going on when they were killing ADF in Lebialem and in many other places and trying to push the ADF, demoralize the ADF. Since the days of Siseko, the Swiss deal just came in to spice it and to show them like this is what you were fighting for, to have a way to talk to Pobia and become relevant, and they will give you position, they will give you amnesty, you go back and you become this. They are attracted by all this nonsense, all this Cameroon propaganda. Pobia can never rehabilitate anybody. Look at Nambere and Success Congo today like example. All those who have been deceived by these individuals who were in for short-term glory and quick fix, thinking that they will use the popularism and rise up of our people not to help the people, but to help themselves. How can you follow somebody who needs help? These are people who just want to go back to Cameroon. These individuals in the IG, most of them just want to go back to Cameroon, have their security, have a way to become the things they could not when they were down there. At least, but there are also some of us who are out here who could not make it down there and we ran away from the country. But for us, we want to give chance for those who we left behind not to have the same routes that we take, but to free themselves and live free so that no generation will migrate again. That is the difference between us and them. So when he came out and was warning that the ADF was out there spoiling their negotiation in Swiss because they are fighting against La Republic, they lied to our people and used the type of people they call informant to come and lie. You remember Luista, somebody who is in Europe as a nurse who have taken oath to protect human beings, could bring down themselves and be used by these individuals because they will put him on TV.
When they confronted the gang of murderers, it turned out to be about 39 ADF fighters. A battle quickly ensued, and even when the mission commander noticed that they were ADF fighters, called for restraint, called for them to put down their arms, they did not put their arms down. Unfortunately, I say, this was led by their own brother, whom I now understand is resting in peace. We understand that when the mission commander called for arms to be laid down, a few of the ADF members laid down their arms, but their own brother ordered for fire to be opened by the ADF forces onto his own brothers, members of the Bui warriors. So a battle ensued. We understand there have been some casualties, and may their souls rest in peace.
So this one is one of those people that Chris Ano called informant. Tribalists who, for fame and for promised positions in La Republique or whatever they are looking for, one cannot already tell, will come out to lie for them, to feed into their propaganda, killing their own brother. He is now lying that the ADF 29 in Bui, they were coming to attack La Republique soldiers, not ADF. But we all know from the communications that we have published that they know that they were the ADF soldiers coming to provide weapons and have meetings in Bui. They send their soldiers to go and kill them. And they come out to lie that when they came there, it wasn't Guineam, the best sniper we have, who asked for the ADF to open fire. And because of that open fire, they shoot and they kill them, and killing Guineam on the spot. But as you all know, there are video evidences that prove that these people are cold-blooded murderers. And I want to tell you that Guineam and this Luista are coming from the same village. They might be related, but he will murder his own people. For Chris Ano, for what? For popularity, to go and be on TV and have some fame that you are a leader? This is video. This is Guineam. Arrested by Chacha, who later came and lied that he was not even there when it happened. That's Guineam. Brought there, that is Chacha behind there. They brought Guineam, put him, he kneeled down, they put a gun on his back of the head, and blow his head off. Look at them. Their own brother. What these IG people have done, what these IG people have done to us, to Ambazonia, killing the best of our best, killing General Agaba, the overall ADF commander in Bamenda. Somebody, when he rose up in Bamenda, La Republique shivers and run away. They kill all of them like that. Remember the ADF, the other ones, let me put videos of the other ADF soldiers who were killed, and these boys were telling them that they were La Republique soldiers, they were not Ambazonia soldiers, they were La Republique soldiers. These are the remaining of there were 23 of them plus the other ones who joined them, so 29 of them. Look at them, humiliated by soldiers on the ground, the Bui warriors, who were brainwashed to think that the ADF are Cameroon military men. These are the consequences of this type of lie. These are the best fighters we have in Bamenda. These guys have neutralized uncountable Cameroon military men in Bamenda. Look at them being humiliated by their own, because Chris Ano and his so-called informant will facilitate their lies for fame. They will kill people's children like this. Some of these boys were buried alive. You could hear them telling them, remove their shoe, taking their shoes, so that they will be slaughtered. Big number was held in a classroom there. So these people, they come and lie to you every day. Some people go and listen it for entertainment purposes. But you should know that this lie have deadly consequences. Let me play some of the video of these ADS soldiers on their way when they were going to Bui. Some of those videos are tied up, difficult for me to find, to retrieve them. So these are the ADF soldiers, the Ambazonian soldiers that are fighting for you, that were constituted and built for you, that have the best diplomatic structure, the political wing, the governing council that backs for them, speak for Ambazonia. They represent Ambazonia. People like Chris Ano will come because they want to negotiate in Swiss and become things that they cannot be on their own. They will come and tarnish their image in this manner for cheap fame. For cheap fame. I call it cheap fame because that is what it is. It's cheap fame. Let me put up some of this video. Remember that this Chris Ano, somebody who had said that he will surrender to La Republique. Let me play this video so that you people hear. This is not somebody who is driven by ideology.
Move on. You don't support it. We'll lay down our tools. I have to be very frank, very, very frank with you. There is no other way. You have to give your money. You don't give your money, we will lay down tools, carry our hands on our head, surrender to La Republique du Cameroon, and that will be all. I just have to say it the way it is.
So this is Chris Ano telling you, Ambazonians, that if you don't give him his money, he will shake his hand on his head and surrender to La Republique. It's all about the money for him. Without that money, he will surrender to La Republique. Nobody who is worth fighting for you, nobody who is truly fighting for Ambazonian freedom, somebody who have the self-worth of Ambazonia, of what they deserve, who can have that dignity enough, who can fight for you, will even imagining themselves carrying their hands on their head to surrender to La Republique. Nobody who is a liberator can have that type of a thinking. The fact that Chris Ano can think that he can surrender to La Republique, he can carry his hand on his head and he will not be ashamed. He will not think of the boys who have laid down their life, but he will be willing to carry his hands on the head and surrender to La Republique. Shows you the type of person he is. A sellout, someone who is susceptible to bribery and corruption, somebody who is there for the money. This is the person working for La Republique. He himself have said it, that if somebody, that the Red Dragons were killed by the Red Dragons, but these are pictures that prove that that Field Marshal was killed by La Republique and those who were working with them. So if the same people were working with them, killing your own brother, now you want to go and replace him, you think that we'll believe that the other person is not working with La Republique. These same people, they are not working with La Republique. They have not been compromised. And you try to cover up the death of your brother, asking them to lie. They should not say that Oliver Leke is dead. Our intelligence picked them all up. We told the Ambazonian people that his brother have been killed by the enemy. Because those people who killed Field Marshal were working with La Republique. They are all working with La Republique. We have known that for some time. That is why they are drinking Trantra Export. Your brother died with drinking Trantra Export, being disoriented because you forced him to come down for your ego, to come and fight other Ambazonians like you have been doing. So these people cannot fight for Ambazonia and not fighting for Ambazonia. The evidence is clear. You also have these other guys in, they call themselves the AMF. When we declare lockdown, they saw it as a cheap opportunity for them to gain some popularity. They came up with a video. Let me put this one up. And they call themselves Ground Zero Soldiers.
Greetings, the people of Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia.
So when you find liars like this, these are the AMF. Because they know that if they stand with their name AMF, no Ambazonian will not associate themselves. No force will not associate themselves. Because we know how AMF started up. It was a product of Foncha, the one who have joined La Republique. Sok Foncha. It was Sok Foncha who created AMF with a Fingong, how they call the other guy. Then you other have good people like Dela was deceived to join them. They are failed. They know that they bring that name AMF Ambazonians are going to run away. So they are now hiding and creating, using many, many names. They first come and they try to say that, oh, we are there in Meme. We have joined in Meme. How many times have you joined? How many times have you elected people? Before they had this other guy, that was called, was it Presido? And they are fighting against everybody. You remember Sako also banned their group. When Cristiano banned ADF, he banned AMF, he also banned Sokadef and every group. So they were also fighting even against Sako. They were declaring lockdown. Sako declared lockdown. They'll come and fight against Sako. Sako sent people to go and kill their former spokesman. The guy who was there was called Presido. He was killed by Sako. Sako sent people to kill them there. So they are coming out pretending that they are ground zero forces. No, it is AMF. Call yourself by your name. Anytime you see people lying, misrepresenting themselves to the public, know that there is something wrong. So they could not gain any popularity. Now when you attack ADF, La Republic will at least see you. Now they are doing live. A general, you say you are a general on the ground. We know that some of them are not even on the ground. But we know some of them are on the ground. But there are some guys around Meme. Bitakola is a general of South Frontier. Who can trust South Frontier? Remember the only soldier on the ground who had said that he's AMF from Santa. Let me put up pictures of Santa. These are one of the guys who work with Grandpa for Santa. Grandpa for Santa, who is the AMF guy. The 7 Kata have now learned, which is something we have said, that they were betrayed by the network of Cameroon military that had infiltrated the camp of Grandpa Santa. They have killed even soldiers that come from Boyo in the name of AMF. This is a Cameroon military guy who came there and were infiltrating them and pretending that he's an Amba fighter. They even make video for them to send money. This is him. He's a Cameroon military man in Santa. These are the AMF people. So they come out there because you can use the name, just like the scavengers wanted to use the name of a government to scam people. These ones now have come, they have tried AMF, it did not work. AC, AMC, now is ground zero. And they'll speak like that. Somebody would think that it is the whole ground zero forces who are with them. No, these are just a bunch of lunatics in Meme who think that they are actually campaigning for what La Republic have been fighting all along, to separate the political leadership which is in the diaspora and the leadership and the forces on the ground, so that it will isolate them, it will cut them off from diplomatic energy, and it's going to kill the Ambazonia struggle. Their own is to fight other people so that they will become relevant. What a shame. What a shame. The guy who was there, he was working with me. I was in this group. They invited me when the whole idea started by South Frontier. I was invited. In that early stage, you had people like Nambere was there. The guy was there, St. Michael. Now he's in Kondengi. From our intelligence, he was removed from Kondengi because he agreed to work with La Republic. And he has been put to a location that nobody knows. They said they are putting him in set. So he might be manipulating these boys to make these videos to counter what the Cameroon government wants to counter on the ground. Deceiving soldiers, putting them, some of them in chat group, they will exit themselves. They are ashamed to stand and call their name AMF. Look at all this, the flyer, there is no AMF there. Clowns. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I tell you before, Dr. Cho Ayaba, the nationalist, have been on the forefront. He did not just have this idea, but he lived his life to free Ambazonia. He had tried everything. He has worked under everybody. He has tried to help everybody. He had had enough experience. And at the end of the day, when he saw, he was right. Because when the consortium was protesting and all that stuff, Ayabacho was telling our people that the Cameroon government will never negotiate. They never will negotiate with you because it is a colonized system. They are there to assimilate, to destroy you and extract your resources. And he was right. The Cameroon government banned the consortium. And he went to work, sending the people that have aligned themselves with the Patriot, Sheikh Avi Wameleng, Benedict Kwa. They went on the ground, recruited, opened camps and trained our boys, as you have seen the video. And he went on the ground to declare, to inaugurate and launch self-defense on the ground, commissioning the ADF. It is not a mouth. Today they want to deceive you that this man is working for La Republic. The person who launched self-defense, this is Ayabacho. This is a leader on the ground. These are soldiers, patriots, waiting to receive him to launch ADF. They were buying these weapons against the Cameroon military when nobody was buying it. Cameroon can never inspire Ambazonians for self-defense. It will be suicidal. It's not possible. Ayabacho is working for the Ambazonian people. This is the force that he has built on the ground, coming together to sing the national anthem, providing them uniform, a structure where they can fight and liberate our homeland. Instead of the politicians who have failed in the SDF, somebody like Atta Milan, Nalova B, Milton Taka, who could not be given position by Nijon Fundi as parliamentarians and senators. Instead of them, to see this liberation as a way to fight for those of our people who have been left behind, subjugated, and really stripped of their dignity, to fight for them so that they will not suffer the same fate as our generation, for them to stand as a never again generation. Instead, they have seen this liberation movement, the rise of Ambazonia, as an opportunity for them to go back and be who they could not be on their own. For them to go back and tell Frundi and tell Pobia that, you see, the people, the way we put them, the way we give them position, they know if we help you. Now, if we help you stop this thing, now if we help you control our people. These people are people who desire, they love La Republique, they love the way of the master. Remember, all the Hebrew people who were saved from Israel, all of those who were bringing problems were the ones who were slave masters, taskmasters in Egypt, who have learned the ways of the enemy. They know the ways of the enemy. They speak the language of the enemy. How can you be freed by people who admires the way the enemy is behaving? Alexis Ndive, Seseko Ayuk Tabi. They are patriots. They can love Ambazonia, but they admire the way of the enemy. They want to be the enemy. They want to just be. What they want to be is what the enemy is to us. They want to become ministers. That is why they were willing to apologize to Pobia and La Republique when ADF started killing gendarmes, when we started deploying forces. They were willing to do that because their objective was to be the person to go and speak and get that opportunity to be something, while our people will continue to suffer the same things that we are fighting for in the first place. Their main obstacle was now ADF, not La Republique. And if their main obstacle is the ADF, it shows you that their agenda is not independent. Because if your agenda is independent, look like John Bakoro. We have differences, but his focus is against La Republique. Look like Gojidinka. We have different in opinions. You would think that somebody like that who brought the name Ambazonia will feel jealous that other people have taken it and pushing it ahead. But he's not coming to attack anybody. He's not attacking the ADF. When we make mistake ideologically, you have Edwin Gang who come out there to correct and advocate for his own policies, his own vision, because he knows that we are fighting for the same thing using different methods and different approach. That is what liberators, they do. That is why you don't see people like him coming out to attack the ADF, attack Ayabacho, blackmail them, because he's a patriot. You can only be liberated by people who are selfless. You can only be liberated by people who are in for the long haul, who have the right political mindset, the right ideology to fight against La Republique to Cameroon. The ADF is a force on the ground. Dr. Cho Ayaba is the main man who have demonstrated through his idea, his policies, and proven beyond reasonable doubt that he has mastered our problem, he has mastered our case file. He is the most articulated amongst us. He is an inspiration to our youth and to all the forces on the ground for them to be able to do what it takes for us to be free. For us to be free, ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand who is the enemy. The enemy is La Republique. We have to understand that fighting the ADF is assisting La Republique, whose main enemy have been Dr. Chuayaba and the ADF from all along. For those who are in for political gains, they may look at attacking the ADF as an easy task because it will make you popular. If you attack me, attack Ayabacho, you have traction because the enemy will not come after you. You have allies in the enemy. And even though it might be comfortable and tempting to do that, in the long run, you are destroying that which you desire the most, which is freedom for our people, which I believe Siseko and the rest also want. But they are just so compromised by their own ego. They don't have it in them. Not everybody is a liberator. Not everybody is selfless. For the sake of the soldiers and boys like these young men who have listened to the call and the ideology to rise up in self-defense, for goodness sake, stop the blackmail, stop the lies. There are evidence on the contrary. Stop taking our people for fool and right. If the DOD of the IG could just have focused to build their own force, use people like Chris Bongam, people who are connected on the ground, who can recruit and train soldiers. But the abandoned Chris Bongam is there now, he's just talking on his own. Because instead of building a force, they focus on blackmailing and buying our force to destroy us. Inadvertently, they are instead working to help La Republique, because the main objective of La Republique is to target the Ambazonia Defense Forces, the forces for the people. We are fighting for the people, we are fighting for our country, and this will always remain our main priority. But like I said, we will fight with two hands. Now I understand, while in the Bible, all those who knows the way of Israel, of Egypt, had to die in the desert for Israel to be free. The desert have to open and swallow all of them. Maybe that is why we are taking all this long time for all these people to be exposed. All those who kill your prophets, all those who kill those who speak the truth, who demoralize our forces. You heard La Republique. The objective of going after General Efang and our core base in our headquarters in Batibo was to demoralize not only the ADF but all the other forces and our people. Because our ADF, our ideology, our institutions, our leader is the hope of the nation. If they go down, the whole thing will be shaky to its foundation and may even collapse. Do not help La Republique. Do not be an enabler. Support the ADF, the fund, by donating to them. These are the boys, in the word of General Mba Ivor, who are going to lead Ambazonia into Boya. We have the right ideology. Just imagine the actions of No Pity if he was an ADF soldier, if he had stayed an ADF soldier. Imagine what we would have done with that message in terms of communication and to push for our diplomacy and to rally our youth. What does it benefit a man if you destroy the one that is best so that you can rise? You cannot try to bring other people for you for your own self to rise. Ambazonia is the only place in the world where hunters who are going to hunt an elephant, they start to be angry with the one who carries the gun, who knows how to operate the gun, who is going to be the one to bring down the elephant. And because they start to argue about who is going to eat the head, who is going to eat the heart, they decided that let us kill the one who is carrying the gun, because if he kills that elephant, he is going to decide who gets what. And after they kill him, they are now left with a gun they cannot operate. And they meet an elephant who they cannot kill. And the elephant will end up destroy them all. That is exactly what will happen to Ambazonia if we continue to entertain people like Chris Anu and his likes and his so-called informant. We must wise up. We react patriotically by supporting and aligning ourselves with the ADF. You don't need to join. Align yourself, support them. The ADF is on a mission to free Ambazonia, and with God willing, we shall accomplish this mission sooner than later. God bless you all.